Good morning everybody. Well, it's morning for me, probably not for you, but if you watched yesterday's video you'll know exactly where I am now. I'm outside Andrew's house. This could be one of the strangest jobs I've ever done, but it could make for good content. So it could be a nightmare for me to be here and do it, but it could be great for you lot to watch, and it could make for good content. So either way, one of us is a winner, aren't we? So I am just about to go and knock on the door and go and see Andrew, and I'll show you these tiles and this job. And I think most of you watching would have said, why did you take that on? But you know, needs must. I don't need it, but he does, poor sod. So we'll go and see what he's up to. You can see it's all very, very random there. God knows what I'm going to do with them tiles. I mean, they're all completely different sizes because they've been on walls before. They've already been on someone else's bathroom wall, I think. So it's just literally like, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. But he seems happy for me to just do what I've got to do. So we'll have a look. It was funny. I just went in there and he's got this shirt on. It looks like he's going out to a disco. He's probably about his 70s. He's got to be in his 70s. He's got this shirt on. He's got this blue. It's like a satin shirt, you know, like what an old disco dancer would wear. Funny bloke. Right, anyway, let's get some bits in. 720 by 3 foot. Remember that. Use a loo and it's beautiful where I'm working. These thatched cottages, let me try and zoom you into the thatched cottage a bit. dog. Yeah. Right, okay. Let's get cracking. So that's that all pieced in now, just rendering this up. Just got to put another top coat on it, just leveling it out, because that was all over the place down here, and so was that. So obviously if I'm putting tiles on it, they're quite big tiles as well, so I don't want any sort of waving really. I want to make it as easy as possible so I can get in and out and done. What am I doing? Almost like putty. It's not adhesive, it's like a putty. It's still a little bit soft, really. It's brown. I bloody hope it's putty. Well, that wasn't so bad. It's just gone 1 o'clock and I'm out of there now. So all the wool is rendered up, ready for just to dry for for a day really. I'm only going to let it dry for a day, but it should pick up all right in there. All them tiles, as you can see, are cleaned off. I've got quite a lot of the same size tile there actually, and hourglass. They're not ceramic in the way that you'd think. I think they're glass all the way through, but the back of it is fairly ribbed, so it should give a nice bit of grip really. And what I'll do is I will put them on with a powdered adhesive. I don't really like the ready mix adhesive. I've never been a fan of that. It can sometimes take a long while to dry, like, you know, it can stay soft under that tile for a while. With a good powder one, once it's gone, it's grabbed it, you know, it's really sort of solid. Because I want to try and get that all tiled and then just grout it in the same day really. I don't want to muck about really and go back to have to grout or stuff like that. So that was that, and to be honest, Andrew was as good as gold. He let me in, we had a quick chat, and he just let me get on. Now I really thought that he was going to be in and out saying, you know, what can we do this, can we do that. That was the impression I got. I got the impression he would be a bit of a pain really, and he was fine. I think once he realised I was just going to get in there and get on with the work, he just left me alone. But I did say to him as we were talking, I just said to him, Andrew, what did you do for a living when you was working? Because he's obviously over retirement age. And then he opened up and he told me the whole story, really, of his life. It's quite tragic, if I'm honest, but he's quite a comical character when you speak to him. He's got a little twinkle in his eye, and he still obviously holds a good sense of humour no matter what he's been through, really. So basically, 51 years ago, when he was 21, he was working on the steel work. He was doing the steel erecting in London. And he said one particular job they went to, which was over at Cannon Street. Don't know if you know Cannon Street in London there. They were working on a job there, and for some reason I couldn't really get the gist of what he was saying, but the boss had done a different pulley system or a different rigging system that day. He was using something different, some wires instead of some ropes or something like that. Anyway, he was the young lad there. And what's happened, this system slipped, and as it slipped, it's caught him and it's took him off the edge of the steel, and he's fallen. And the poor sod's broke his back at 21. You can imagine, can't you? 21 years old. So he spent quite a bit of time in hospital with recovery and stuff like that. I'm laughing. I shouldn't laugh because this isn't funny at all. You know, obviously it's not funny, but he's quite comical. Even when he says it, he was making me laugh. And then when he came out of the recovery, he went to stay with his brother. He was paralysed. His legs, they worked out his legs were never going to work again. So he was staying at his brother's house. He fell asleep in a chair or something like that. But his feet were near a fire. I'm really not laughing at the thing. It's just him, you know. So he fell asleep with his feet near a fire, and obviously his feet have burned. He's caught his feet alight. He's got terrible burns. So he went into hospital with his burns, and while he was in hospital, he met a young lady who he ended up marrying. Now, this woman was also disabled, and this poor cow, when she was young, she got hit by a stray bullet in Northern Ireland that had gone through her back, gone through her spine. I think he said it went through either like her liver or kidney and then come out for her stomach, so she almost died. Anyway, they met together in hospital, got together, got married, formed a life together, and I think they both got quite heavily compensated for their accidents. So what they did, they ended up living in Putney, down in South London, which is a nice part of London if you know Putney. They had a lovely place in Putney, and then they invested their money and they bought 2 or 3 other properties down that way, and they had an income generated from that, and that was how they sort of sustained themselves, really. He went back to university and college, I think, and he got some degrees. Very well educated man, very well read, you can tell. Knows a lot about world politics. He seems to know everything what's going on. Quite well travelled as well, I think. I think they went away a lot. Then what happened was his wife, with her job took her to Zurich. He didn't want to go, so he stayed here. She was working in Zurich, and I think after about 3 or 4 years of that, their relationship broke down. Then they sold their properties. Then what he did, he went to Cyprus. I think he is Cypriot. He's either Greek or Cypriot because his surname is like a Greek name, but he looks very English and sounds very English. But I think he's got family in there. So when his marriage broke down, he went out to Cyprus and he bought a bar, and he ran a bar in Cyprus. That ended up losing money, so he ended up selling that, and he was basically like penniless, really. But he didn't want to come back here, so what he did, he said he lived on the beach for about a year or 2. He just bummed along the beach, just getting cheap meals, and then I think what happened was his health issues were getting bad with his burn on the leg. He was getting a lot of open infections and things like that, so he came back over here and he ended up in Addenbrooke's Hospital in Cambridge. But they threw him out of there. I think he was a bit of a pain in the arse when he was in the hospital, actually. This is what I can gather. He's a man that won't take no bullshit. He doesn't conform too much, I don't think. I think he's very much his own person. So Addenbrooke's basically threw him out and said, the only time we'll treat you is if it's life-threatening. If it's not life-threatening, we're not having you back in here. So he did have to go back in there, he said, because he had all these wounds started opening, and his words were, I had a bug that was eating me, and what was coming out of the wound smelled like shit. That's what he said. He said, I had one of those bugs, smelled like shit. So anyway, that was going on. So Addenbrooke's took him back in again. As soon as he was off of the life-threatening list, they booted him out again. So they booted him out, and then he's been living where I've been working now since about 2000, and then he's gradually been, I don't know, just getting his life back together a bit, I think. He likes to travel. He likes to go into London and see museums. He's still got a good zest for life. I mean, he's quite an inspiration, really. You know, he's got all that going on. His legs are basically useless, but he's in this wheelchair, and he's decided to have the bathroom done up with a freestanding bath. All these tiles. He's quite like an inspirational man, really. You know, makes you wonder. We moan about having a little bit of aches and pains here. what that poor sod's been through, and he's still laughing and he's still enthusiastic about what's left to come of his life. It's quite good. I was sort of hoping he was going to be a bit more of a pain in the arse, because it would give me something to maybe, tell you lot really. But I actually wanted to ask him for an interview. When he was telling me his life story, I thought, I wonder if he would be prepared to sit down with me and put my phone on him and have an interview. Maybe he will. I don't know. I'm going back there Friday. Hopefully get this tiling done. So I might try and sort of get into him a bit more. But he's really nice. I really like him actually. And he's, as I say, he's been absolutely no bother at all. I'll probably see you tomorrow. I've got a little bit more plastering in another kitchen tomorrow. Another tile's been taken off the wall situation, so I've got to sort that out. But it's a brand new kitchen. Kitchen fitters have fitted this brand new lovely kitchen. Looks like all white, not quartz, like the hard. Is it quartz? I don't know. Whatever. It looks like a really nice kitchen. But in their wisdom, the kitchen fitters didn't think that we should get a plaster in first to plaster what's behind it. So, dickhead here's got to go back and take so much care around a brand new kitchen with sharp metal trowels and plaster falling everywhere. So anyway, have a good evening everybody, and I shall probably see you tomorrow.